Well, hello there, everybody. The victory drums. They sound for the brand new. Whoa, almost dropped my phone. The brand new light heavyweight champion of the world. His name is Magomed Ankalaev, the first new champion for the UFC in 2025. He defeats Alex Pereira in the main event of UFC 313 via unanimous decision. And a fight that happened wasn't the most thrilling fight, but a smart tactical performance from Magomed Ankalaev. He defeats Alex Pereira, hands Pereira his first loss at 205 pounds, and is now finally the UFC light heavyweight champion.
He did it!
He did it.
He did it!
The man did it.
Nobody's excited about it but him. I'm sure he's very excited, and he deserves it because he did it.
He did it. He is the champion. So we got our post-fight show, which is going on right here. I am Mike Heck. That is Jed Meshew. We are back here in Command Center 5.0. At the same time,
don't forget Puppet Mike.
We got the Mike Puppet here. At the same time, on this same here YouTube channel, we have the post-fight press conference going on because I know what a lot of you are thinking. What is Ignacio Bahamondes going to think about his win over Jalen Turner? And if you want to know the answer to that question after this card, you can actually go watch this right now. Ignacio Bahamondes reacting to being Jalen Turner's, at least for right now, final opponent, Jed Meshew.
Mike, it's possible our mics aren't on based on some of the comments I'm seeing. So
Really?
They're saying our audio is poor. You are in charge of that at this moment in time.
Well, you know what?
Hey, chat. Thanks
you guys
for
are
saving
right.
us.
You guys are completely correct.
David Sandy, and we are, in fact, changing the mic input.
We are
Thanks, chat, because we didn't know that.
Yes. I thought we were all set. We should be good now. How is the chat responding now? Are we better? Are we back in our...
They'll let us know
in
play.
play?
I'm not seeing it at the moment, but I'm sure we are
I think
better
we're
if
in
you
play.
physically
I
did
think
it.
we're great. I think we're happening. We are on the right settings. So let's just make
Guys,
sure
we're
good.
a little too excited about the new champion. And sometimes when you're
All
that
right, we're good.
excited,
We're back.
you
We're back.
forget about things, okay? Like,
Yeah.
it happens. You get a little flustered. You're rushing because of all the
Apologies.
joy in your life that Magomed freaking Ankalaev is the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Yes, he is. So let's just get right to it because Ignacio Bahamondes is talking right now. We assume Dana White is coming up next. And again, if you were not watching this event live, then you missed all of this. But if you were watching the event live, there is a moment we're about to find out who won the main event. And Bruce Buffer is speaking to Dana White, who has the belt. I think in Dana White's eyes, he thought maybe he scored the fight the same way you and I did, 48-47 for Alex Pereira. Had a smirk on his face, is feeling good. The second Bruce Buffer told him what was going on, Dana's smile went to frowns. He was
just like
not a happy
cartoonishly
camper.
dropped his shoulders, like, go.
Let me ask you this. Before we get to what this Ankalaev title run looks like, and we will discuss this, what is Dana White going to say?
I think he's going to be somewhat magnanimous. I don't think he's going to be like over the moon, obviously. I think he's not going to throw Ankalaev under the bus, but he's going to do that. Look, you guys know me. I'm not going to tell you it was a great fight, but he got the win, and you're fighting a guy like Alex Pereira who can put you out with one punch. You gotta fight smart. He did. I think it's going to be more. I wasn't the best we've seen of Alex Pereira, and he's going to start selling the rematch immediately, not at the expense of Magomed Ankalaev, but saying, look, I think we can all, that just wasn't the Alex we've come to know. Some of that probably is Ankalaev taking it away from him, but we're going to run this back. Talked to Alex already. He said he's healthy. We'll do it in 4 or 5 months over the summer, and he's earned that shot. I think he's not going to throw him under the bus. He's an Ali guy, so he's not going to throw him under the bus. Basically how it's going to go.
I think it's going to sound very similar to Bilal Muhammad. It's going to be, wasn't a barn burner, is what it is. It's going to be something to that effect. I don't think we're going to get what we got at UFC 282, where that fight was terrible. I zoned out after 3 rounds. I don't think we're going to get anything quite like that.
Probably not.
But I don't think we're going to get a glowing review either.
Yeah. And like, it's not like he can trash, because the truth is, like, Alex is also at fault for that fight being not that interesting.
1,000,000%.
But like there's no world you trash Alex Pereira. The man has done so much for the company. And I just don't think you trash your new champion. So I think we'll be able to see his not being pleased about it, but he won't really put it out there. So but we'll find out pretty soon as we have it up and can react in real time. That'll be fun.
Well, that's what we're going to try to do. Unfortunately, some of these events, when it comes to the media in attendance, everybody has to ask a question, even if it's been asked 2 or 3 times already. So as much as I would love to hear from Ignacio Bahamondes, and this was a terrific win, a couple of things I want to say. He probably should have already had his scrum before this.
Turning it on and there being Bahamondes there is like, okay, really thought we'd be staring down Gaethje, but I guess they held it for whatever reason. So
Gaethje was at the UFC post-fight show at the desk with Okamoto and Teddy Atlas. We assume Dana White is going to be on deck, which if that happens, we're going to turn it up a touch. We have the MMA fighting feed on the TV right here.
It's a great website.
We will react to what Dana White had to say, but I will give Ankalaev, people are saying, oh, give the man credit. We are. He won.
When have we taken an ounce of credit away from him? As a longtime supporter, even this week when I didn't want to, you see the Boop shirt, I still picked him. I still bet him because I have said for years he's the best light heavyweight on earth. I guess tonight he proved it technically by winning the title, even if it wasn't the most exciting fashion. But he did what nobody else has been able to do at light heavyweight. He beat Alex Pereira. That ain't nothing. Yuri Prochazka, my large silly boy, failed miserably in 2 attempts to do such a thing. And credit to him, he did it in the way he said he was going to do it. Almost all of that fight. 4th round, there was a big chunk of clinching against the fence, certainly. But he said he was going to stand and strike with Alex Pereira. And for most of that fight, he did. And won the fight on the scorecards. And certainly didn't get his doors blown off like I think many expected would happen if he was a man of his word in that way.
So now it kind of comes down to this right now, because if Alex Pereira demands a rematch, he's 100% going to get it. If you're the matchmaker, and let's paint the picture, because you are pretty staunchly on, I don't think a guy, even if he's had a long range, should get an immediate rematch. He should have to win a fight before he gets back to a title fight.
Unless it's a trilogy or there was some like a really bad decision or something super controversial. Correct.
If you showed up to the matchmaker meeting on Tuesday and the brass says, Jed, what are you doing? Are you doing this rematch with Pereira? Are you doing Magomed Ankalaev versus Yuri Prochazka for the belt? Because that is a new fight. Prochazka just knocked out Jamal Hill, beat him up pretty good. And that is a pretty terrific win for Yuri Prochazka, despite getting knocked out by Alex Pereira a little while prior to that. Or do you wait to see what happens with Carlos Ulberg and Jan Blachowicz? I don't think the UFC will be in a huge rush to rebook the Jan Blachowicz rematch with Ankalaev. Carlos Ulberg could be kind of interesting, though, as a fresh face in this division. How would you do this?
I think if I'm going into that room, I go in and I just say, hey, here's where we're thinking, but we're not going to make any decisions yet. And what we're thinking is, let's just wait. Ankalaev's new champion. He can have a little bit of time to celebrate, do the tour of Russia or whatever he wants to do. We'll see how Ulberg Blachowicz shakes out, and we'll give Alex Pereira a little bit of time, because ultimately the first move for us will be, Alex, what do you want to do here? If you want to fight at light heavyweight, you want to run this back, we will let you do that. That's where we'll go next. If you don't, and if I'm the UFC, I would be like, hey, Alex, what if you don't, right? Like, we know you want to win this. Maybe you can do that later. The same way you left middleweight when you lost. Let's just go to light heavyweight. Let's book you against somebody fun up at heavyweight. Let's have you versus Jailton Almeida or something cool at heavyweight. Just to get the people going, and then maybe you can pursue that other belt. That's where I would want them to go. But if Alex is like, no, I really want to get that back first, and we do that. And I think you can wait, because ultimately, if Alex doesn't want to do it, I think you do wait to see if Ulberg wins. Because if Ulberg wins, at that point, he just deserves it. If he beats Jan Blachowicz, certainly if he beats him well, and Yuri can fight somebody else to get himself another shot.
At the same token, there's another fight that we didn't bring up. Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree are about to headline UFC Kansas City.
Mhm.
Fresh matchups there too.
Fresh matchups there. I think both of those guys are a little further removed just because they are coming off losses, but fresh matchups. So, and certainly like if Khalil Roundtree beats Jamal Hill, then Yuri fights Khalil Roundtree, and the winner of that has a no doubt about it title fight. So I think you just don't have to, you don't have to shoot that puppy right now. You can just kind of let it be, show a little patience and move on. You know, let things develop out a little bit. Unless Alex comes in and says, hey man, I'm ready to go by the summer, International Fight Week, run it back. And you're like, okay, sure, do that, bet.
Somehow Ignacio Bahamondes is still answering questions. This is
Nacho's having himself a day.
Dana White's going to be here for an hour and a half, without question. We're not going to react to all of it, but we'll react to.
You mean we're not going to stay
parts
here all the way until Ankalaev gets up there to say the most riveting stuff you've ever seen?
No, that
Wow.
is just not going to happen.
Haters. Call
That
him a
is not
hater,
gonna-
chat.
that is
Chat,
not-
call him a hater. He deserves it.
That's just
Hating
not-
the new champion.
Congratulations to Magomed Ankalaev. Justin Gaethje, former interim lightweight champion, former BMF champion. First fight back since UFC 300, where he was brutally knocked out by Max Holloway in the final second. Takes a dangerous fight against Rafael Fiziev, who returned from a really bad injury suffered in September. Bahamondes is getting up and leaving. Dana White might be showing up. And if that's the case, we're going to have some
But hey,
fun here.
Nacho, great performance, great win.
Great win, great performance. Shout out to Jalen Turner. What a career. But Justin Gaethje back in the win column, beats Rafael Fiziev in what we assume will be the fight of the night. Gaethje gets it done, man. Thoughts, reactions?
It was the best. So happy Gaethje got it done. Paul, like transparently, I was pretty anti this fight for a number of reasons that I think were really obvious and viable. Also, part of it was just like, I think Gaethje's probably going to lose this fight given the circumstances. And he didn't. Came out here, proved me wrong, got the dub, looked good doing it. Certainly a different texture of a fight than it was their first time around. Still probably we're about to hear that it's fight of the night would be my guess, which makes Justin Gaethje's like 97th performance bonus in 12 fights or whatever. And I do at least get some bonus points for fight of the night for the fantasy team. But mainly just super impressed. Impressed by Fiziev, frankly, to coming in 10 days notice functionally and having a very competitive fight. But Gaethje did the damn thing, and really interested to see where we go with him now, Mike. I think there are some choices, and there's some choices I really want to happen.
Well, for those who were not watching the watch party, what are the choices? What are you looking at for Justin Gaethje?
I think you give him a title fight, Mike, because why not? People will say because he just lost to Max Holloway. Sure, Max Holloway just lost previously. He's a new matchup, and most importantly, he should have been the guy fighting for the title most recently. But the UFC just needed a fight to put on at 300. And so they gave the BMF belt, the Gaethje Max Holloway fight 300, because they needed juice to that. If Gaethje had said no and waited, well, we know how the UFC does business. If he turns him down, maybe he doesn't get the title fight. But by most estimations, he was the dude in line to get there. And then suddenly lost it because he did the company a solid and ended up losing that fight. I think I'd be more than comfortable getting him a thing. Oh, Gaethje trying to make this quick. Man's got a tea time in the morning he got to get to.
All right, so no Dana yet.
No Dana yet, Justin Gaethje up. But I think if they don't do it, it won't be like I won't be offended. But I think you do a lot worse because I really feel that Ilia Topuria should have to fight somebody. If Ilia Topuria fights Justin Gaethje, that's also fine. If Justin Gaethje, they just rebook the Dan Hooker fight. More than fine. There's no wrong way to book a Justin Gaethje fight, pretty much, because he's Justin freaking Gaethje. So if I had the power of the pen, my Otno magic wand pick, title fight is Makhachev. Any other opponent, totally cool with as well.
Yeah, there's just so many freaking options, man. Gaethje versus Sarukian is really interesting and fun. I mean, there's just it's too good, man. The dude's just too good. So he's so fun, lots going on, and lightweight rules. It's the best division in the sport. Stop saying bantamweight. It ain't bantamweight. It's lightweight because of reasons like this. All Justin Gaethje has to do is, dude got face planted in one of the most brutal knockouts you'll ever see inside of that octagon. Bounces back 11 months later, beats a guy he already beat, and now we're talking about him getting
just
into
a
title
no
fight.
upside fight for him. Like just a zero
Zero.
upside fight. Also, easily the most excited I was tonight was when he dropped Fizz. I thought he was going to get the finish. I was losing my mind off that uppercut. Just sick. Love to see it. Ultimately, I do hope that we get Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier in New Orleans at the end of this year for Dustin's retirement fight, because we just deserve to have beautiful things in our lives. But in between, anything you want to book him, fine by me. Man can't you? He is in. It is impossible to book him in a boring fight. Impossible. Cannot be done.
Great win for Justin Gaethje. Kudos to Rafael Fiziev as well for the performance he put on, and he will be back. Like to see him just fight Mateusz Gamrot in that rematch that everybody seems to want, but Mateusz Gamrot. I kind of have a feeling that Mateusz Gamrot's not going to be able to say no to this at this point.
I think you're right. I think they're going to. I think that makes sense. He did them a favor. They're not going to punish him. We talked about it very briefly, and I can't stop thinking about it now. I just desperately need to see him fight Ignacio Bahamondes, because Rafael Fiziev is 5'8", Bahamondes is 6'3". It will look like a father fighting his child in there if his child is very muscly and very powerful. And like that, if I'm magic wanding, that's the fight I'm doing there, honestly. Because great performance from Bahamondes. It would be a huge jump up for him, obviously, but it would be very funny. And I love funny more than I love justice.
That's very true. We mentioned Ignacio Bahamondes submits Jalen Turner in the first round. Jalen Turner
Off his back.
Jalen Turner announces his retirement in the process. He told it to John Morgan, then did some interviews in the back, spoke with Aaron Bronstetter, basically confirmed it as well. Jalen Turner, your boy, the tarantula, calling it a career.
I'm going to guess he'll be back, because MMA retirements never last, and he's only 29. But also wouldn't shock me, because he, like, after the fight, he seemed just sort of disinterested in everything. Like, he was smiling pretty immediately. He's joking, talking with Bilal Muhammad. Seemed like he is really cool with it. I don't know if mentally he was, like, super focused coming into this, if this was something that was already in the back of his mind, like, win, lose, or draw. I'm just going to be done after this. But certainly weird circumstances. Not at all what I thought would be happening here. But if it is the last one, I was super wrong about Jalen Turner, but you had some fun fights. You were a good fighter for a good amount of time. Happy trails.
Yes. Shout out to Jalen Turner. Amanda Lemos gets the upset win over Yasmin Lucindo in a
rock solid performance. The olds.
Yes.
All the olds, but for Alex.
Tough scenes, that fight, if we're being honest with ourselves. Not one many are going to go back and rewatch, except for maybe Yasmin Lucindo. I think she'll learn from that. And Mauricio Rufy with right now, it's got to be the clubhouse leader for knockout of the year in 2025. Just
easily the knockout
dead
right now.
Bobby Green with the spinning wheel kick from hell. And it came out of nowhere. It left everybody stunned. And for good reason, because once you saw the replay, you were just like, holy shit, that was incredible.
Yeah, it was you can go watch the watch party replay that'll come up. I'm just in stunned silence, because it comes out of nowhere. It is like he's throwing a left hook and then just keeps spinning, and his heel comes up, and suddenly King Green is dead. The king is dead. Long live the king. Like that is easily the leader for knockout of the year at this point. And if something tops it, be a great year, because that was like shades of the Barbosa Terry Adam wheel kick. Sick KO. I'm gonna guess it'll be our knockout of the year by the end of the year, because it'll take a lot to supplant that.
Yeah, it's at worst it's going to be on the list. So
there's not a world where it's not in the top 5, I don't think.
One thing Justin Gaethje said at this press conference, he was asked about being Dustin Poirier's retirement fight opponent. And he said, quote, "I don't think either of our families deserve that."
So that's sort of been a company line for him since like the second one. And I can't blame him for that. Honestly, like what's happening. That's one of those ones where it would, like, if they are both just like, man, we went 1-1 against each other and tore strips out of each other's lives and souls, I'm good. I get it. But God, I would love to see him settle it up for a third time.
Yeah, that would be a fun one. Kind of feeling Max Holloway might get that one.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Gaethje beat
fine,
feet
but-
out of there. He is gonzo.
Dude, he's got a morning tea time. He's got to get out of there.
Dude gets
Probably
it.
playing like Paiute tomorrow, you know? Got to get out into the desert, swing them sticks, baby.
We do not have fight of the night yet.
Well,
We do have our performance bonuses.
How do we
though.
have those without Dana coming and telling them?
Because
Oh,
maybe he's not coming.
I guess they tweeted them.
Yes, Ignacio Bahamondes and Mauricio Ruffi. Performance of the night bonuses.
Deeply unsurprising, well deserved for both men.
Yes.
And fight of the night's going to go to Fizz Gaethje. I don't think that's a question.
I don't think there's a question. Okay,
Though the first fight of the evening was really fun. The Jordan Santos, was really fun. But I think Fizz Gaethje is going to take fight of the night.
I think Renato Moicano's tweet about that was tremendous. It was like, "This is the worst but best fight." For all of those reasons. Yeah, it was just really good. It was really good. Let's go to some super chats. We'll see if Dana comes up. If Dana comes up, we're going to react to the first 5 or so minutes of this, not the entire thing, because he's going to be up there for an hour and a half. Slito, how y'all think Tom Aspinall feels about the main event result?
Fairly ambivalent. I mean, like, there's a world where he was fighting Alex Pereira next if Pereira wins. I also think that, like, Tom versus Cyril Gane is going to happen at some point, even though we all think Gane lost his rematch with Volkov. He officially did not. That's a fresh matchup. Makes sense. Jailton Almeida is lurking. Like, there are dudes for Tom to fight. I could say John Jones, but obviously that fight's not happening. So, probably he'd be happier if the Pereira fight was an option, but it also may not be, guys. Again, when Pereira got killed by Izzy, don't think anybody was like, he's definitely just going to bail on middleweight and go to light heavyweight and do what he did. Would not stun me at all if he's just like, doesn't mean enough to me. Like, let's go do something new. Let's try and do something nobody's ever done before. I will go fight Jailton Almeida and show you that I can't be taken down and I can do better than that or whatever.
He just needs one win, and he's
literally one win at heavyweight, and he's getting a title fight.
So that could happen. I remember that post-fight show after UFC 287. Dana White says, I think he's going up to light heavyweight. We're like, what? This is promotional malpractice. This makes no sense. And then Alex Pereira came out like 3 days later and said, yeah, I'm done at middleweight. And we're like, oh shit. Okay.
Alex Pereira, Sergey Pavlovich. Book it. Like, you booked that? Cool. Cool beans, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Tom's cool with it either way.
Yeah. I think, it would be better, but I don't think he's too fussed about it.
Lewis, how is Ankalaev such a great striker, but so boring?
This is going to be a really hard sell for the people tuning in. And I know that what I'm going to say is going to sound really dumb based on what we just watched. He's actually not that boring. That was boring. I'm not here to tell you that fight wasn't boring. And he has had some boring fights. He's also he's had plenty of not boring fights as well. That's just sometimes a thing that happens in fist fighting. You guys probably won't remember this. The greatest striker in MMA history, a man by the name of Anderson the Spider Silva, was once almost fired from the UFC for being boring. Like, sometimes they just don't work that way. And I think that stylistically, there was a lot of Ankalaev trying not to get dead, and it worked. And he won as a result of not getting dead. It's a really good strategy. If you don't get dead, you have a way better chance of winning a fight than if you get dead.
I mean, I can't really add much to that. Question about how Tom felt about the main event. How does John Jones feel about the main event? Any chance this affects John Jones's decision whether or not to retire?
He's much more unhappy about the main event because there was definitely a universe where John was going to fight Alex if Alex wins. Seems really tough. Like, that's a really tough sell to do now in any way. Not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, mind you. Pretty tough to be like, Alex just lost the light heavyweight belt and now he's going to challenge John for the real heavyweight belt while the actual heavyweight champion is Tom Aspinall. That's a really tough sell. They might still do it, but maybe spin zone. Maybe Tom is happier about this because even if it's by a minute amount, it makes it ever so slightly more likely that he gets the John Jones fight. I don't think he will, but it probably increases that chance by 1%.
KO 3000. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, sir. Even though your logo,
We love you.
Even though we're a Patriots family here in this household. Carlos Leal and Ruffy are extremely good, says RS40. What's next for them? Also thought Pereira won. Jed, you've always been a doubter. What's next for him?
I also thought Pereira won. I scored that fight for Pereira.
I thought Pereira won.
I do not think that's a robbery. I think
Nope.
totally fine to score it for Ankalaev, but I scored it 1-3-5 Alex. Well, we've basically been talking about this. Whatever he wants. If I'm guessing, if you're just guessing, what do I think he's gonna do? I'm gonna say he goes for heavyweight. That just seems like it's way more upside. Like getting the light heavyweight belt back is something he can just sort of back pocket at this point, right? Like if he goes up to heavyweight and fails, he can still come back and get a rematch with Ankalaev, given what he's done, how popular he is, that fight. Whereas instead he can say, look, like
he can go fight Derek. He can go fight Derek Lewis.
Yeah, fight any random heavyweight and just be like, hey, I'm trying to do something nobody's ever done before, and people will instantly be all in behind it. So if I'm his team, that's what I'm telling him to do. I'm going to guess that that's what he does.
We shall see. Still waiting on Dana. We'll see if he comes up. And
somebody tweeted this, or not tweeted, messaged this way earlier. Dana's currently in the back talking to Don Davis, trying to trade him Magomed Ankalaev for something.
For Dakota Ditcheva.
Dakota Ditcheva and Aaron Pico or whatever. Do you want him?
A millionaire.
The best light heavyweight in the world. You can say that. You have the best light heavyweight in the world if you want him.
We'll talk more about the matchmaking suggestions for Mauricio Ruffy and others.
It's a wonderful program.
On to the next one. Live. 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live. And an hour earlier, too, because daylight savings is going to hit in literally 14 minutes.
Be an hour earlier. It'll just feel like an hour earlier.
Yeah, Jesus.
Officially, it'll be the same.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I assume you're doing it at 10 a.m. or whatever time.
Well, it'll be 11.
But it'll just feel like.
Yeah.
It'll feel like you're doing
it.
But it'll still be the same on the clock.
Oh.
Dana with the power slap cup.
Oh, he's not happy. All right, Dana White is here. Let me see if I can get some volume, a little extra volume.
Sold out fight night.
Gaethje physique,
fight of
the night.
As we expected. So I get some bonus points. And then he's going to tell us the bonuses that we already know. Oh, he is not happy, y'all. Yep. Okay. Who's got the first question?
Look at his fucking face. All right, let's see.
Guys, there's a reason Dana plays blackjack and not poker.
It was. Not what I expect. Let's see.
He's trying really hard. He's trying really hard not to talk shit.
Yeah. I expected a lot more. Is basically what he said.
Is Alex going to come do a post, huh?
Potentially.
Okay. I love John Morgan.
Yep.
I love John Morgan. I know we don't matchmake on fight night, but what if you matchmake on fight night?
And went to Justin Gaethje. Okay. I mean, we got it on the background. We'll see if he's.
Yeah.
We'll see.
This is what I thought, right? Like he
wants to shit on this fight.
He does, but as a new champion, it's an Ali fighter, so he's just going to try not to.
Yep. Thoughts on your climb bet falling off tonight, Jed?
Considering I did horribly on my bets tonight, I'm now pleased because at least it's not a loser. We'll recircle. We're still climbing. Apparently Curtis Blades might have just fallen apart, so comfortable with how this evening worked.
Dana's being asked. Apparently, a lot of UFC fighters could not buy the pay-per-view, or they attempted to buy it and couldn't watch it.
So apparently that was a big issue during the watch parties. There were a bunch of people talking about it in the comments of like,
really?
oh yeah, there's a ton of the comments were like, you guys can't, I'm trying to buy the pay-per-view. I can't. How are you guys watching it? Because
Oh,
I
wow.
can't buy it. And I actually addressed it once when you stepped out. I was like, I don't have an answer for you, man. Like
It's working. It worked for us.
Working for us, and I'm not going to tell you an illegal stream. So yeah, I don't know. Apparently they did have some issues. So tough.
And Dana's talking about boxing now. So there you go. Micah, neither one convincingly. Bad performance by both.
So
I actually don't think it wasn't a thrilling performance from Ankalaev, but you can't say it's a bad performance because
correct.
He's the champion.
Correct. This is not the same because the fight I'm going to compare this to is the worst fight in modern history. And so a little hyperbole, similar circumstances to Carlos Esparza Rose Namajunas 2. In a vacuum, awful. Carla won, so by definition, it's not a bad performance because she won. Had she lost, the judges gone the other way. Terrible. Same thing here. I did not score that fight for Magomed Ankalaev. I scored it for Alex Pereira, but he won, so it is definitionally not a bad performance. Dana
Still more boxing stuff.
Okay. He's going to be digging in on that.
Chase, John has even more leverage now. Either pay up or Tom fights literal nobodies in the worst division in the damn sport.
I love your enthusiasm, Chase. I think John doesn't have any leverage at all because fighters don't have leverage. I think the UFC will pay him more, but I would be fairly surprised if the UFC's offer changes at all. I'm going to guess they have already given John the best offer they intend to give him. And whether John decides he is comfortable with what that offer is, I do not think that this fight has Dana being like, I'll add an extra zero to the paycheck. That's just not how their business model works. Because it doesn't matter if Tom fights nobodies. They don't care. They're still going to sell They're still going to sell buys. But it'd be cool if you were right. Because I would love to see John fight Tom.
At the end of the day, John has no leverage. The UFC does not need John. They don't need Connor. They don't need anybody. Those 3 letters are the brand. End of story. They're going to give John what they feel is a great offer.
Mm-hmm.
And like you just said, he could take it or leave it. And if he leaves it, Tom Aspinall becomes the heavyweight champion. Like it's fine. The sport moves on. John didn't fight in the UFC for fucking 5 years almost. He vacated the light heavyweight belt and left and then came back after Francis left, fought Cyril Gane, and they had their biggest business ever without John Jones. So they will be just fine without him. It's okay. There is no leverage.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty and the power of being part of the UFC machine right now. You are the star.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody else.
Very quickly, I'm just going to answer Joseph Bosa because he's put it in like 18 times.
Go ahead.
Bahamondes is going to be ranked. Very obviously, be a ranked dude. He's going to get ranked. Even with Jalen Turner retiring, he's going to get ranked. He'll be number 13 in the UFC rankings. I mean, he'll probably be ranked in our rankings too, frankly, because I have Jalen Turner ranked. So he'll be ranked somewhere in that top 15-ish, but not top 10-ish. And I already said it. I think it'd be really funny. I'd do Fiziev. Probably not like the smart thing. My guess is like Benoit Saint-Denis or Beneil Dariush or somebody in that back end of the 15, but I do Fiziev because I think it'd be funny.
All right. Now he's Oscar Willis.
I was just getting on Dana to be like, hey.
He's asking if he thinks Pereira looks flat or.
I honestly, I don't think they should or will do it. I'd really like to see Ankalaev fight Yuri. I think that fight would be quite fun. I think Yuri can beat Ankalaev. He can never beat Alex, but he can beat Ankalaev.
Dana is doing his best.
Dude, honestly, respect. He is not saying what he believes in his heart of heart.
Dana's saying all the right things here. Like, he really is saying all the right things. You can't blame Ankalaev for the fight being boring without blaming Pereira. So, I mean, end of discussion. Yeah. So, I don't think we're going to get anything crazy from Dana here. So there you go.
He's clearly committed to.
So, yeah, let's see if there's really anything else here that we need to address, because, like we said, million things going on. Jed's got to drive back. We still have a lot of work to do. We got to get everything ready to go. And this press conference is going to go on for at least another 90 minutes, especially if Alex Pereira shows up. So let's see if we can get one last great question here. Shout out to Ozzy Diaz. I will leave it at that.
Shout out to Ozzy Diaz, indeed. Really fun fight to open the card, frankly. Way more fun than I thought that fight was going to be. Jordan Santos ruined the Santos parlay, which otherwise would have cashed, albeit stone robbery had it done so. But yeah, good opening. Tough ending. And that is, Mike, that's sort of one of the things about cards like this. And just all MMA cards, even if the rest of the card is very good, which this card was pretty good tonight, right? Like, I was having a good time. The main event, I enjoyed watching it. I'll never tell people to watch it. I will watch it once more because I watch everything. I watch all the watch party fights because we're doing other things. It's not the same way to sort of get the feel of the fight. So I'll watch it once more and I'll never return to it ever again. Not an exciting or fun fight. And so it kind of just brings the energy down, because it's how you finish the meal. If you have a great dinner and your dessert is a poop soup, you're like, oh, okay, well, this meal's bad because I'm ending the night with a bit of poo flavor. We got a bit of poo. So congratulations, Magomed Ankalaev. He did the thing. He made me right, which is my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing, to be made right. I was eventually made right. Took us long enough. And by the skin of our teeth, we got there. And he'll be champion of the world forever now. So can never take that away from him. Should have been champion in the Jan Blachowicz fight, probably.
Well, when you have the UFC title wrapped around your waist, poo and everything else just tastes a little bit better. I think Magomed Ankalaev's next meal is going to taste better than any meal he's had in quite some time. And doing it during Ramadan deserves a lot of credit. Smarty just fought the right fight to beat Alex Pereira. And he's the champion of the world. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Justin Gaethje. We'll see what happens with Alex Pereira. And the night is in the books, Jed.
We have another super chat that came in. So
right as the music is playing.
I mean, RS40 he knows how to do it, you know? He's like, okay, you guys are trying to leave? No, sir. Let's get in there.
What chance you get Bryce to beat Silva?
I think that fight's close to 50-50. One of the many reasons I hate it. Bryce Mitchell is, in general, a very durable dude and a very, very talented wrestler and grappler. And he's a much bigger man than Jean Silva is. So would not surprise me at all if he just tackled Jean Silva and won that fight. Risky matchmaking, frankly. But people were into it at the 314 presser. And that was certainly getting by far the most crowd reaction to any of that was, John Silva poking him. And there's natural heat there, even if I cannot stand that fight being made.
I'll say I was closer to 50-50, but after that press conference, 60-40 Gian. Bryce looked like he wanted to be literally anywhere else.
He was not having a great time, which, that's good.
Yeah. And fight week is got to be pretty much similar. So appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all you guys tuning into all the stuff. Like I said, AK and I back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. We will be live. On to the next one, matchmaking. More of your questions, more of your super chats, more of your reaction. Enjoy the press conference the rest of the way, everybody. Thank you so much.
Love y'all.